it's really important to keep in mind different cohorts of ages, essentially. Everyone's really familiar with millennials, Gen X, baby boomers. We've got Gen Z that is entering the workforce currently, and are these new graduates that you're speaking of. And in my research, what I found really, really interesting is just the difference in how these cohorts approach and think about their employee status. So, for example, baby boomers, who are the ones that are nearing retirement currently, they really didn't ask a lot of questions that are currently being asked today during this Great Resignation period. They showed up for work and they put their time in and they went home at the end of the day, and that's how they did things. We have seen a shift from that to Gen X. Gen X wanting more boundary setting, work-life balance, but still, willing to put the time in, wants to get in there and get their hands dirty and go home at the end of the day. More and more so, what we're seeing from millennials and Gen Zers is that they're asking these really in-depth questions about not just what is my job, but what does my job contribute to society, to my community, to my own mental health? What does this job do for me? Am I part of a community? Am I part of something bigger? Those are the questions that are really being contemplated by people that are entering the workforce today, especially. And employers really will benefit from having their eye on that prize of keeping that in mind so that their retention strategies are focused to give those employees that are in different cohorts what they're looking for. And if we're not adaptable in that way, then it is going to result in turnover. And so we, as employers and managers, have to continue to ask ourselves questions about what our organizations are offering to each employee and how, depending on those cohorts and individuals, because obviously there's differences in individuals in your organization, they don't boil down to just a cohort group, but how are we meeting their needs and having those really important conversations with your employees. You asked about patient care and long-term health of the company and the project. And those are really important questions, because when you have high turnover, what is the problem with that, right? It's the patient care that is delayed. And we all know that 70% of all medical decisions are based on laboratory testing. So, it's those patients that are hurt as a result of high turnover rates. And if you can fix some of these things within your organization and have a focus on how to retain your good employees, then you can cut down on the turnover that will affect, patient turnaround times for those decisions, and can really have a great impact on your patient care. In terms of the long-term goals for the company, the very first question that I always ask my clients when we're doing, especially a full-time lab director or pathologist search, is, how long have you been searching for this person? And in most cases, before they reach out to us or before they allow us to assist, it's been several months, if not a year. And my very next question is, how much revenue have you lost as a result of not having this position filled? And it's not one that's posed very often, I think, internally in and of ourselves, but I think it's a really important question to ask, because it's not just the patients that are impacted, but it's also the health and longevity of your business and the growth that you probably likely want to achieve, or the advancement that you want to achieve. And all of that can completely be halted or at least slowed way down if you don't have high quality people in those decision-making positions leading your team to the new advancements and into the future. So it's a twofold problem, turnover for sure. Not just is it frustrating to have to train people over and over again, but also the fact that the patient care is also impacted, and then your long-term plans for your company as well. So employers should really, really be highly motivated to retain great employees so that they don't encounter these problems in the future, particularly with what we're seeing in the market in terms of the supply demand.